Alright, so we are back for patch number 14, and today we are going to do something a little different. Instead of rushing through a 5-minute game, we are going to have a brief chat about what's improved, what hasn't, and what can be done to make the game better. So I played 2 matches already, one 10-minute match where I ended up losing 10 points to 0, and this game in the background, we ended up drawing 7 points apiece. That was in a 14-minute game. So the highlights for this most recent patch was, at the top of the list, player movement speed changes. Individual player movement speeds have been adjusted to further balance line breaks and defense. More tweaks to AI. AI-controlled teams will have better defensive formations, tackles, and passes. And the guard mode glitch was fixed. It says rectified an issue where after receiving an offload, players could occasionally be put in a state where they could not be tackled. They also had a few other things, but I kind of want to just focus on the gameplay for the moment. So let's knock the positives out of the way. The AI improvements, definitely noticeable. Like I said, I did lose my first game on. The biggest positives about this is that the AI is back to retaining possession for long periods of time, and that's kind of what you want when you're using one of the worst teams in the game against one of the best teams in the game. I say best with absolute bias. I was playing against the Wallabies, but that's neither here or there. Now, with the AI being dominant at the ruck, there's still an issue with us players, as there's no indicator at the breakdown to show us that a turnover is even possible. It's one of the reasons why I said the ruck needs to be more interactive. Now, how can we do that? We may as well just take it back to Rugby 2011, add some button mashing in there or something, put that meter to use. Because at the moment, when you get stuck in that defensive loop, trying to get a turnover, it actually just feels like a lottery, because there isn't really any true formula for it. Now, I've always said that I spam it when I make a dominant tackle, or if I have more players around the ball. And that's another time I'll spam X. But it isn't consistent. Sometimes when I'm undermanned at the ruck, I'm able to push over 3 players, and vice versa. When I have the advantage at the ruck against a single player, we are unable to push over. Now, that shouldn't be guaranteed, but it should be like the basics of how it would work. The same with being isolated. After tackling a player one-on-one, we should be able to get to our feet and contest for the ball, in turn triggering a potential turnover or a penalty for the attacker holding on to the ball. At the moment, there are no ruck infringements unless you're holding A yourself. So yeah, with the AI, I like how they're retaining possession. I just don't like how it feels random. There should be a rhyme or reason. I believe that's been like an ongoing suggestion or talking point in a lot of posts about potential improvements. Some more positives from this patch with the AI is the ball movements. It's not perfect, but it is more varied play. As we've been yapping, you would have seen some decent offloads and change of passes in different directions, which is what you want. The biggest issue with the AI is there's no kicking game in attack at all. It's not even like a rarely thing. You never see them play territory. That needs to change, as general play kicking is a huge part of rugby union. What they need to do is make the AI kick more, especially after numerous amounts of phases inside or in and around the 10 to 22 radius. I don't care if it ends up being predictable. At the very least, it sends us back, forcing us to play out of our end of the field. I'd much rather do that than get stuck in a tackle simulation. And staying on the general kicking topic, one of the biggest issues that's been an issue since day dot is the bomb. The Gary Owen, the up and under. There is absolutely not enough height on these kicks. It's pretty much a useless kick. Not even worth attempting, even though I always try to. More height needs to be added to those to trigger some aerial contests, which I've been saying for a while now is a huge part of rugby these days as well. I don't think I've ever been in an aerial contest, legally, I should say. I have once maybe, but I was offside. And lastly, with the general play kicking, the AI needs to be using these other kicks as well. The chip kicks, the grubber kicks, and the bomb, when the bomb does become viable. What I will say with the AIs and the bombs is just to pay attention to where teams usually throw up the Gary Owen, and have the AI perform it every now and then from those certain positions as well, and it's pretty much in and around midfield. And lastly, a suggestion for the AI is the urgency inside their own 5. They are still trying to pass their way out and just end up getting tackled in goal. They need to be box kicking as soon as possible, unless there's like no time on the clock. Because this update was pretty much focused on fixing a few things and the AI play, I did want to come on here and sort of hammer a few points home on potential tweaks to help improve it even more. Still a lot to do. We're just talking about what was mentioned in the patch notes for this particular update. Overall, it's another positive step forward, a positive baby step forward, we should say. For the negatives, there's a few bugs in and around the ruck. The box kicks are getting unintentionally charged down now. I'm not too sure what triggered that. There's also occasionally an issue with our defensive line. It randomly gets all out of whack, and I think it's to do with changing what type of defensive formation I want. Here's an example of it from earlier. You can see the breakdown here, and then look at how players, they're like running back like they have the ball. Those are probably the two biggest issues I've had since this new patch. And there's still overarching issues that kind of affect the player more than it does the computer when it comes to attack. And that's just the general spacing issues, especially using the formations in game that don't really change a thing, or they're just poorly implemented. I'm talking about the 1-3-3-1, the 4-2-4, and the balanced formations. Now what sort of gets lumped into that is the pod system. I say system, but it isn't really a system. We see the pod formed, but you can't do anything meaningful with it. Back in earlier builds, you could pass between the pods, but you can't even do that. Whoever you choose to pass the ball to runs too far ahead of the other two players. The biggest issue with it that can easily be fixed is they're not moving together as a unit. If you can just have them all running onto the ball and have the spacing sussed out around the pod with the back line, it'll do a better job opening up play, giving us an option to tip on or play out the back. It's something subtle that can actually make a huge difference in regards to attack. The spacing issue is probably the biggest thing that's hindering the game at the moment. To clarify, it's the spacing issue for us in attack. More often than not, you do see too many players crowding around the ball, or just weird movement off the ball in general, which you can't really do anything with it. What you can do to rectify that, you can add some super basic plays that don't particularly lock you in set play animations like they did back in the old rugby games. You can have it set up like Rugby League Live 4 where you can play off the cuff of certain running patterns. But yeah, those are topics for another time. If they do end up adding set plays, we'll do what we do, review and give feedback. We did kind of go off on a tangent on things that weren't related to the patch, but that happens. We are going to call it there though. Again, it was another positive patch. Still a long way to go. The good news is that they said the game will be supported until they feel it's in a good enough spot, or what they promised. So there should be plenty of patches to come. For now, we are going to call it there. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to show that like button, and for more rugby related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
possession. Look out, he moves through the line. Looks it over the top. Pass away. Pushes the defence away. Surges forward in the tackle. Game, how close this could be the game-defining moment. We'll be looking to overpower the opposition with this contest.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Push! Push!
1, 2!
Some urgency at the breakdown.
Right.
Receives the pass. Gets the pass. And into the tackle with one intention, stripping the ball. Pushes it on the line.
Gets a try. Let's hear it for number 12, the second 5/8. The conversion is successful. The scores are now tied.
Full time here as the referee blows the whistle for